I've got me a mule, her name is Sal. 15 miles on the Erie Canal.
All right, here we are at the opening of the Erie Canal Audio Tour. And with me here is really the manager of the project, an archivist over at the MySci Museum. Hi, Chris Hunter.
Hello, Greg, and welcome to the grand unveiling of our new downtown Schenectady Erie Canal Audio Tour.
All righty, thanks. Mayor McCarthy, you can be proud of this project, right?
It is. It's exciting for Schenectady. It's innovative, and it just kind of reinforces Erie Boulevard as the gateway to this community and so much history and innovation.
Fabulous. Okay, and we have the director of the Canal Corporation, former Mayor Brian Stratton. Brian, what is happening today?
Well, today the Schenectady Museum, which has now changed its name and its mission, it's called MySci, is announcing its grant for a virtual tour of the Erie Canal, which is to run right down here in downtown Schenectady.
So, thank you for being here, and we're going to start with a very special introduction.
Some barges in our day, filled with lumber, coal, and hay. And every inch of the way I know, from Albany to Buffalo. Low Bridge, everybody down for us. Low Bridge, we're coming to a town. You can always tell your neighbor, you can always tell your pal, if you ever navigated on the Erie Canal. Low Bridge, everybody down for us. Low Bridge, we're coming to a town. You can always tell your neighbor, you can always tell your pal, if you ever navigated on the Erie Canal. We better get along on our way, old gal. 15 miles on the Erie Canal. Cause you bet your life I never part with Sal. 15 miles on the Erie Canal. Get up there, mule, here comes a lot. We'll make room by 6 o'clock. One more trip and back we'll go. Right back home to Buffalo. Low Bridge, everybody down for us. Low Bridge, we're coming to a town. You can always tell your neighbor, you can always tell your pal, if you ever navigated on the Erie Canal. Low Bridge, everybody down for us. Low Bridge, we're coming to a town. You can always tell your neighbor, you can always tell your pal, if you ever navigated on the Erie Canal.
For collaborating with us, the downtown Schenectady-wide campus with that great rendition of the Erie Canal song. The Reverend Bill Levering helped teach them and direct them, and the Reverend Abby Norton Levering accompanying them on the violin. So our thanks again. We appreciate your being with us today to help open the Erie Canal Audio Tour. It's an innovative new educational resource for our region. Good morning and welcome. I'm Brad Lewis. I'm president of the board of the Schenectady Museum, now known by our new name, MySci, the Museum of Innovation and Science. And we're just going to practice a couple times, right? MySci. 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 Okay, great. We announced that new name yesterday as the latest important step in our carefully planned transformation into a regional science center. And in addition to our new MySci name, we also announced our new mission to explore, celebrate, and inspire science and technology, past, present, and future. The new Erie Canal Audio Tour is a great example of our new mission, is using the latest in technology to explore and celebrate the past. The Erie Canal Audio Tour highlights the innovative technology that made the canal possible and how this technology impacted the lives of Schenectady residents. It's funded by a grant from the Erie Canalway National Heritage Corridor Commission. It's a 1.2-mile tour along Erie Boulevard right here in downtown Schenectady that explores the Erie Canal through 14 mobile audio stops, accessible by cell phones and QR codes. The tour is hosted by Pittsburgh, New York-based OnCell, which offers a state-of-the-art technology platform providing location-specific interpretation to your visitors. The tour stops are labeled by window decals at current businesses on Erie Boulevard and State Street, and I had the pleasure of seeing one of them installed right across the street yesterday, quite serendipitously. MySci officials have opted to collaborate with local businesses as hosts for the window decals because we didn't want this current construction project, which we very much welcome, along Erie Boulevard to delay the opening of the tour, so we wanted to open it right away. MySci is very proud to partner with and express a sincere appreciation to the businesses hosting Erie Canal Audio Tour stops. I want to thank you to the tour hosts who are with us this morning. Sid Ramatar, Vice President of KeyBank. I knew I saw Sid someplace. Dawn Taylor from Wedgeway Barbershop. Right? Jeff Schultz of the Grog Shop, and Paul Brayan of Woolworth Electric. We also want to thank you for the tour hosts who are unable to join us, and they are Asopo's Downtown Pizza, Lyle's Hoagies 2, First National Bank of Scotia, Erie Crossing, EOS Technologies Bangkok Bistro, the Photo Lab, Stewart Shops, Amtrak Schenectady Rail Station, and Moret's King Steakhouse. We're holding this opening of the tour's first stop, hosted by KeyBank, entitled Opening the Erie Canal. And it examines DeWitt Clinton's inaugural journey along the canal in 1825, as well as the reaction to the new mode of transportation by communities along the canal. Brochures detailing all of the tour stops and locations are available at MySci and down at Proctor's, so you can easily find out about it. In addition to partnering with area businesses to host tour stops, MySci also partnered with Union College Museum Studies students to develop tour content and invited area residents with a connection to Schenectady, the Erie Canal, to read the recorded audio content for tour stops, so you'll hear some familiar voices there, and we're appreciative of that. I have several dignitaries here who have come to join us, and we appreciate their being here. And the first of those I'd like to introduce is Canal Corporation Commissioner and former Schenectady Mayor Brian Stratton.
Thank you very much, Brad. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Mayor McCarthy, President Schweitzer, Chuck Steiner, friends, one and all, Sid. It is a pleasure to be here. And first of all, I would like to take the opportunity to congratulate the Schenectady Museum formally on its new mission and new name, MySci. I think it's a fantastic opportunity to really capitalize on what has been the museum's strength, certainly Schenectady's legacy. I'm here not only as the Canal Corporation director, but a commissioner on the board of the Erie Canalway National Heritage Corridor. And it is the grant from the National Heritage Corridor that funds, I understand, the audio tour. And this is a tremendous thing. You know, all around the state, cities that grew up along the Erie Canal today are embracing the heritage and everything that made New York State great. And Brad is absolutely right. When the Erie Canal opened in 1825, it forever changed New York State's fortunes. And the canal, as we all know, ran right down here along Erie Boulevard, which under the mayor's leadership today is being transformed. Not just Erie Boulevard, but the Erie Edison Technology Corridor, paying tribute to the great Erie Canal and the tremendous contributions of Thomas Edison and the General Electric Company. Our great governor knows that New York State's canal system is a economic engine. It brings more than $380 billion a year into our economy through tourism spending. And I have every confidence that with this new tour, Brad, that $380 million figure is going to grow to 400 to 450. I'm sure the mayor wants to see that happen too. So I congratulate you, and I look forward to being among the first to take the tour and to coming back and helping the mayor do more to promote the tremendous canal history that is here. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stratton, for those remarks and for coming to this Erie Canal Audio Tour grand opening this morning. And speaking of funding, now it's my pleasure to introduce Andy Kitzman from the Erie Canalway National Heritage Corridor Commission to say a few words about the grant awarded to my side to fund the tour.
And thank you, Director Stratton, for those kind comments and for your work on the commission. Very much appreciated. And also, congratulations to Chris Hunter for such a great project and such a great grant application. We really appreciated seeing this come across the board. It was a wonderful opportunity for us to engage with this community, to see a project that came across the board that engaged Union College, that engaged businesses, that brought together a group of people to make a great project happen in such a nice community. And with all the renovations taking place, as Director Stratton mentioned, along Erie Canal Boulevard here, it's great to see this be a part of that overall process and how this process will move Schenectady forward. And also, congratulations on my side. It's wonderful to see that happening in the corridor. It's an inspiration to the many museums and cultural sites that we have across the corridor, many of whom are struggling to re-identify themselves as things change, and you stand as a beacon to that. And I'm so pleased to see that happen, and congratulations. Thank you.
We have our mayor, who recorded the content of one of the stops on the tour with us this morning. Please welcome Schenectady Mayor Gary McCarthy.
Thank you, Brad. Another great day in Schenectady. I thank my side. It's a catchy name. As the museum enters another phase in its history, and we look at Erie Boulevard, the Erie Canal, which has long been a gateway to this community. And Chris, through his thinking, this application and the funding that we were able to obtain, through technology, we now have a gateway that allows us to go back in our history, to review that and to let people learn about the significant things that happened at the different points along this relatively short stretch, the city of Schenectady Street today. And it's just so exciting to be able to see this happen. It's innovative, it reflects the history of this community, the future of this community, and I thank everyone who, whether in a large way or small way, made this happen, because we do appreciate it, and thank everyone for their help and assistance.
To introduce Chuck Steiner, President of the Schenectady Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. Great enthusiasm, Mayor McCarthy. I love it, and so good to see Director Stratton here and both of you standing here, because we're excited as a Chamber of Commerce to be celebrating this audio tour. From the very, very obvious, you hear the noise and the commotion because this is a major transportation route, Erie Boulevard. which back in 1825, when the canal was open, was part of the Erie Canal itself. All about transportation, all about commerce. You heard about the businesses that are participating in the audio tour, including Key Bank and so many others along the route of Erie Boulevard. Very exciting that our business community have engaged into this project. And certainly we recognize and salute the rich heritage that the canal brings to not only to Schenectady, but the entire state of New York. Very, very exciting from the tourism point of view, and a welcoming opportunity venue for our many, many visitors. But you know, what's great about the audio tour, we all like stories. And if you can remember back to your youth, you might have sat on your parents' lap. They might have read you a cartoon or a story out of a book, or they might have just given you a story. And it's all about the stories. And now think about the rich heritage since 1825. Talking about this canal and giving the rich heritage and history of our community in the canal. A wonderful opportunity, and on behalf of the Chamber of Schenectady County, thank you to all that made this happen, because it takes a great deal of collaboration and effort. And congratulations to my side for taking the leadership role, to pulling us all together and letting hundreds upon hundreds of people now come and enjoy through audio the wonderful story of the Erie Canal. Thank you all.
Welcome another of the voices on the tour, Proctor's CEO, Philip Morin.
Well, it was fun to do. I went into the catacombs of the museum and read this piece that I went, wow, really? Steinmetz had alligators? He lost them in the river? So I learned a lot, and I hope you all learned a lot listening to the parts pieces, because they're really terrific. Thank you. And congrats.
I'd like to thank the staff and volunteers at MySci for their work on this project, and especially our curator of collections and exhibitions, Chris Hunter, who was involved in every aspect of this new educational and innovative initiative, from the initial grant application, the tour content development, coordinating the recording of the tour, and uploading all of the tour content. As to who had the alligator, well, you're just going to have to listen. It's quite a story. Thank you, Chris. Thank you all for joining us today. The Erie Canal Audio Tour is now officially open.
The New York State Barge Canal provides low-cost water transportation, giving Schenectady businesses access to the St. Lawrence Seaway, Great Lakes, and Hudson River. With excellent transportation facilities, Schenectady County offers a pool of skilled, semi-skilled,
15 miles on the Erie Canal. She's a good old worker and a good old pal. 15 miles on the Erie Canal. We've hauled some barges in our day, filled with lumber, coal, and hay. And we know every inch of the way we go, from Albany to Buffalo. Low bridge, everybody down. Low bridge, for we're coming to a town. And you'll always know your neighbor, you'll always know your pal, if you've ever navigated on the Erie Canal.
Governor DeWitt Clinton of New York. His dream changed America's destiny, for he was the father of the Erie Canal, the golden gateway to the West, more than a century ago. Opened in 1825, the Erie Canal was the first empire builder in our history. It was the only water highway through the long Appalachian mountain chain. Supplying a route for the settlers to go west, it gave them a means for shipping their goods back east. Overnight, the canal opened the east to the west and the west to the east. In New York State, towns sprang up all along the 500-mile route. Buffalo and Albany, the terminal cities, grew rapidly, and New York City became the greatest port city in the United States and eventually the world. Clinton's folly, the critics called the inland waterway. How wrong they were. The Erie Canal became the thread that wove a far-flung nation into a unified America. An abandoned ditch choked with debris. This is a remnant, one of the original canal locks. 40 feet wide and 4 feet deep along most of the way, the canal seems pitifully small by modern standards, but in its day it was a monumental achievement. There were no roads to haul supplies. Its builders had no previous engineering experience and only the crudest of tools. The men cut through solid rock by hand and black powder, building 82 locks to overcome a difference of 571 feet between the water level of the Hudson River and Lake Erie. It took 8 years to complete. It would remain in use some 80 years. The task of replacing the old canal with a new waterway began in 1905 and continued for 13 years. The modern barge canal follows the picturesque pioneer route along part of its journey across New York State. Lock 2 at the eastern end of the new canal dramatizes the change from 19th to 20th century barge travel. Operated by electricity, each of the 57 locks can raise or lower a vessel in 20 minutes. The giant steel gates can be opened in 30 seconds. There is room for any vessel up to 300 feet in length. The depth of the waterway has been lowered from 4 to 12 feet. Now barges carrying up to 1,000 tons of cargo can make the canal voyage. Pushed snugly into Lock 2 at Waterford, this barge will be raised 33.5 feet at the start of its westward passage to Buffalo. Grain, chemicals, sugar, pig iron, heavy machinery, and fertilizers are the leading cargo shipments. As the rear gate shuts to enclose the barge within the lock, sluice gates open to pour water into the huge concrete chamber. The vessel rises swiftly and easily as if pushed upward by a powerful lift. In a few seconds, it is at the top of the lock. Ahead stretches a broad, fresh level of water, a highway that, since the Erie's opening, has been the main track of America's commercial development. The junction of the Hudson and Mohawk Rivers seen below made possible the conquest of the Allegheny Divide. The original canal utilized the Mohawk Valley, the middle link between the Great Lakes and the Hudson. Lock 17 at Little Falls has a lift of 40.5 feet, the highest in the system. Little Falls is typical of the cities that sprang up with the canal's completion and became busy centers of trade. In the 20 years after the Erie's opening, New York's population almost doubled. The Empire State had been born. The swirling currents of history have failed to diminish the commercial importance of the canal. Hundreds of ships use it every year, traveling upwards of 2 million miles with cargo loads. Each lock is 328 feet in length, 45 feet in width, and up to 50 feet in height. With all its branches, the Erie Canal is 9 times longer than the Panama Canal. In one stretch of 2 miles, the waterway drops 169 feet through 5 locks. This is the most remarkable flight of locks in the world. But the transformation along the banks of the Erie was even more spectacular. Lockport was, and still is, one of the important ports on the canal. 320 miles from the eastern end of the Erie, it owes its life to the pioneers who believed in Clinton's folly. The doubters were many. Even Thomas Jefferson had said, "To talk of making a canal 350 miles through a wilderness is little short of madness in this day." Today's vessel riding smoothly through the step-up at Lockport symbolizes the dreams that became deeds to make America great. A century ago, the cry, "Low Bridge," rang out on wooden canal boats as settlers dodged under old spans on their way west. The spirit of adventure that drove them on still rides the Erie Canal. No other waterway in America did what the Erie did. It was from the beginning a golden cord and bond in our national growth. At both ends, east and midwest, and in the middle, it rubbed Aladdin's lamp. America awoke, catching for the first time a sweeping look at its limitless future.
I've got me a mule, her name is Sal. 15 miles on the Erie Canal. She's a good old worker and a